It's Saturday and I thought, why not film a bookish vlog? It's my first. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know how good this is gonna be, but I have a bunch of bookish stuff to do. I have a lot of bookish cleaning to do. I need to put all these books that I have next to me back on the shelves. I'm also watching the Formula 1 Austrian Grand Prix, so you'll hear that in the background. And I'm also in the middle of reading a series that I really want to try and finish because I've already received the 4th book and I'm really dying to get into it. I also need to update my spreadsheet of the books I've bought recently because I've seriously neglected that and I don't know how many books I need to be adding, so that's going to be fun. And seeing that TBR number go up again is well, when you buy books, this is what happens. The TBR goes up. So we're gonna get into it. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm currently reading the Austrian Grand Prix. So if you see me looking in this direction, it's because I'm waiting to see when it starts. So let's first get on to cleaning up my bookshelves and getting all these books on the shelves. So okay, this is all the books that need to be cleaned up. This needs to be updated with my July TBR, and these 2 shelves need to be cleaned up because they're looking a bit messy at the moment. And some of these shelves need to be dusted and rearranged. So let's dive into that. These are the 2 books that were on my June TBR that I did not get to, and now I have to shamefully put these back on the shelves and add them back to my little red cup to be picked out in the next TBR pick. Buy one of those spacers that you slot in here and it makes everything the same distance away from the shelf, because doing it by hand makes it so uneven. Now to update the TBR cart shelf. This is where I put all the TBR books that I'm planning on reading within that month. so much stuff. Okay, let's see how this all fits. I'm also going to add my current reads on here. So Elantris and Immortal by Celine Turn. And now I need to clean up the bottom two shelves because I don't like how they look at the moment, and they can't go on my shelves because I have no space for them. They are also on my TBR. This originally was supposed to be a TBR cart, so all my TBRs were meant to be on this cart. Then I realised it's not going to fit 76 books. So I decided to change it up. So the top shelf goes on my TBR for that month. And the bottom two shelves will just be TBRs that I can't fit on my bookcases but do need to be read because the logic makes sense in my head. Even though when I read them, they're going to have to go on the shelves somehow. But we will figure that out. That's future Laurie's problem. So yeah. I've heard this is really good, and I didn't see so much of it when it came out, and I think it must be a year now because the paperback is out. But now I'm seeing so many people talk about this, and it sounds, apparently it's like a really good romantasy. So I'm interested, but I keep forgetting that I have it, which should be within my eyeline, but we'll see if I manage to get to it in July. Maybe I'll add it to the August priority TBR. I've also got The Mask of Mirrors, which is a high fantasy book, but I'm in the midst of my Brandon Sanderson read, reading his whole Cosy novels, and that's going really slow. It was picking up pace, but I'm on Elantris and I'm having trouble getting through Elantris. It seems to be the one and only Brandon Sanderson book that is not grasping my full attention, and I have been on page 160 for 3 weeks now, so I really need to pick up the pace with this one. But it's just, I don't want to say boring, but I'm just not finding myself super intrigued by the premise of the story. I don't really understand the plot. I mean, I understand what's happening, but I don't see the solid plot line yet. So we'll see how long it takes me to get through Elantris. Hopefully not that long, but I'm really surprised because every single Brandon Sanderson book I've read has always been a hit, and it's always been a 5-star, and this seems to be the one and only one that's just not working for me. And I don't know whether I should just DNF it and move on in the Cosy, but then I feel like I'm admitting defeat, and I don't want to admit defeat. So yeah, I'm at crossroads with that. Nightbirds by Kate J. Armstrong. I bought this when I was in Amsterdam. Was it Amsterdam I bought this one? I bought one when I was in Amsterdam last year, and I bought one when I was in Spain last year because I want to do picking up a book in every city I'm in, or in every country I'm in. So I picked this when I was abroad, and it sounds really good. I think it's a YA, but yeah, I'm not picking it up. It will get read at some point, whether it'll be on the TBR for years to come, I don't know, but I'm hoping to pick it up sometime soon. I have so many books that I want to read and not enough time, so what can you do? Oh, this is the one I bought. Lord. Okay, I don't know which one. One is from Spain and one is from Amsterdam. They both sound really good, and I can't believe I haven't picked them up yet because it's actually been a year since I went to Spain and it's still on the TBR. But to be fair, I have books that's been on my TBR for several years longer than that, so not beating myself up too much about that, but I did think that these were going to be picked up pretty immediately when I bought them. That doesn't seem to have been the case. I've also got Liar's Twisted Tongue by Caroline Cusinelli. I heard good things when it came out, and then I immediately bought it, and I haven't picked it up yet. I'm worried that this isn't going to be the hit that I think it is, and so I've been putting off reading it, but I need to suck it up and read it, to be honest. And Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Straub. This has not been on my TBR for that long. I actually did pick this up initially, and I got 202 pages in. As you can see, I still have the bookmark in here. This isn't the book that I thought it was going to be, and to be honest, it should have been pretty obvious, but it's just pure smut, and I just don't find myself too excited about the plot to get through the smut, because don't get me wrong, I love a smutty book, but it needs to be well-rounded. I need to be intrigued by the characters, the plot, the world building, and it just doesn't seem to be that. It's just pure smut. And I just don't find myself caring about it. To be honest, I haven't thought about it since I last picked it up. Okay, I got really distracted. I'm praying that Ferrari manages to make it to Q3 because we're not having a good year this year, to be quite honest, and I don't see any signs of us actually being competitive this year, but I'd be happy if we get to Q3. We'll see. Anyway, I have 2 reading lights. Do I need 2? No, I did just buy a massive lamp for my reading chair because I feel like these are great when the lighting is low or dim, but when there's no lighting, these are just not powerful enough and they tend to end up hurting my eyes. But they are really useful to have, just in case. More books on my TBR. This has been on my TBR for a couple years now. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I think I've just been on such a romantasy and fantasy kick that I've not been able to take myself away from that. And this is just needing to be read. I'm hoping to get to it soon. Next on my TBR, that's also been on my TBR for at least a year, is In These Hollowed Halls. This is a dark academia anthology. Oh no, this has been on my TBR for 2 years. Damn, this has been on my TBR for 2 years. That's wow. Okay. Next is The Spice Gate by Prashanith. This was publisher mail, I think, but I just haven't found myself reaching for it. Again, I think it's because I'm in my Brandon Sanderson Cosmic reading journey that picking up any other fantasy books it's not going to happen until I finish those. Next is The Secret History by Donata. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be really similar to If We Were Villains. I do think I actually started this a while ago. I got to page 89. This seems to be a running theme that I have books that I've picked up and then haven't finished, which I didn't think I had any, but turns out I have at least 3. But I heard that's very similar to If We Were Villains, but since I haven't read either, I wouldn't really know. Next is Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon. This hasn't been on my TBR for too long. This is in my red cup, so I'm hoping that it will get picked up at some point. I meant to have picked it up as soon as it came out, but I think I got distracted by another new release, and then it got added to this cart and then never picked up. And then last but not least, The Book Eaters by Suni Dean. I think I need to unhaul this. I don't see myself ever picking this up. I picked this up because V.E. Schwab said it was good, and Olivia Blake, and those are 2 of my favourite authors, and I just trust anything they say. But this has been on my TBR for too long now, and I just don't think I'm going to get to it anytime soon, so I think I'm going to actually unhaul this. I think I'm going to unhaul this. I don't see myself picking this up. I don't think I'm really an anthology reader. I picked this up because Olivia Blake did a feature in this, but I don't see myself ever picking this up, so I think this is better to go to a different home, and I think I'm going to unhaul this one as well. That brings down the TBR significantly. Let's now restock this TBR cart and I will be done. Okay, guilty. It's the next day and I still have not updated my spreadsheet tracker. This is my spreadsheet that I made, it has to be like 2 years ago now. And it's just how I keep track of all the books I have read, their ratings, special editions, hardcovers, paperbacks, all of that fun stuff, and all the books that I need to read. And today I have the very fun job of updating my only do I have these books to add on there, I also have all my July releases that are coming, and there are quite a few. July seems to be the month of romanticities and fantasy books galore. And although I'm very excited for all of them, I am not excited for my TBR number to go up even higher. So I'm going to add these onto the spreadsheet, and yeah, that is what it is. So let's get into it. Okay, so I finished updating my spreadsheet and this is what it's looking like. So I have been adding throughout the years what I like to keep track of. So I have genre, author, book title, status. So this would be whether it's read, whether it's a TBR, whether it's a DNF, just so that I can keep track, especially if I want to get rid of books in the future. I know what books I ended up not finishing. Then I like to keep track of my special editions, whether it's Fairy Illumina, Waterstones, stuff like that. That just helps in case anything happens or anything's misplaced. I know what edition it is. Whether it's signed, although that's a recent edition that I've added that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep because I keep forgetting to add to it. Then I have my rating and spice rating. I like the rating because then I know what I thought of the book at the time that I completed this on the spreadsheet, which I do pretty instantaneous after I finish the book. And then spice rating just helps when I'm looking at books and wanting to know if they were spicy or not, especially if I'm doing recommendations. It's really helpful. Then review, I like to keep track of the reviews I've done for books, whether it's on Amazon, Goodreads, Waterstones, annotations, that is a recent addition I've added to my spreadsheet. I just like to keep track of what books are annotated recently because, you know, I can't see the pages when they're on the shelves, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep that, but at the moment I'm looking at adding books that I've annotated as like a tick, or, you know, that didn't really make coherent sense, but I'm trialing at the moment. And then my format, whether it's paperback or hardback, I just like to know how many books I have that are hardbacks compared to paperbacks, and the comparison is quite staggering, to be quite honest. And then notes is just anything I want to keep track of in the future when I'm looking for books with vampires or trials. I can just look in my notes section. And now let's look what my status table is looking at, particularly my TBR. I know that number's gone up, so let's see what we're working with. And it's gone up to 78. That's not too bad, but I know for July that number is gonna go up by quite a bit, and considering I was trying to get it under 60, it's not working too well for me. So yeah, that's just what my spreadsheet looks like. That's just what I like to keep track of, and you know, it changes all the time, so this isn't what it's gonna stay like definitively, but for now this is what I have on my spreadsheet and how my books are looking like. So yeah. Okay, that's it for this bookish vlog. I have had so much fun. I've gotten quite a bit done that I wanted to get done. And yeah, I've had so much fun filming this, and this is officially my first bookish vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.